Heritage on NTA Network every Thursday at 10.
It's up to us, all of us. The safety of our communities is in our hands. The police need our help and support. Boko Haram threatens our lives, our future, our country. But Nigeria belongs to us. God has blessed us with this rich land. Let us protect her as we protect each other. Report any criminal activity. Call these numbers. Your call is anonymous, and it is vitally important. Your support so far has been critical. Continuing it.
NTA International News, Africa's window to the world.
Presidential Committee on Flood Relief and Rehabilitation reviews activities. Ahead of 2015, President Jonathan gets more endorsements to run for second term. Plus, traditional rulers call for more proactive approach to food security. Welcome to the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria. I'm Chinedu Obike. The Presidential Committee on Flood Relief and Rehabilitation has risen from its meeting with a resolution not only to ensure fairness in the distribution of funds to victims of flood disaster, but also to insist that all humanitarian issues are addressed. Correspondent Joseph Orok reports.
The meeting, co-chaired by Alhaji Aliko Dangote and Mr. Olisa Abakoba, primarily reviewed its activities and projected on its future programs. Not satisfied with the response of people and organizations that pledged to support flood victims through the committee, the meeting resolves to do more follow-up on the matter.
We haven't had a lot of response the way we should, because we should be our brothers' keepers. There are still millions of naira hanging out there just because people have not responded.
We've also talked very specifically about the humanitarian impact. How do we ensure that the individual lives, beyond supporting the infrastructural environs where there are natural disasters and where there have been floods in the past and where you're finding that there are insurgencies today, how do we actually ensure that individual lives are rebuilt?
Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, Sani Sidi, and the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Linus Awute, speaks on other areas of deliberation at the meeting.
We have briefed this committee this afternoon on the current situation. I have given the overview to the committee, and the chairman of the committee has asked that we should send a formal report for consideration to the larger committee.
The 50 million naira drug donation procured specifically as essential drugs for the victims, which have been distributed to the affected states, has in many great a way prevented the occurrence of diseases.
The committee was inaugurated by the federal government to raise additional funds to augment the 17.6 billion naira earmarked by governments to provide succor to flood victims in the country. Joseph Orok, NTA News.
Nigeria and Poland are set to redouble trade relations in various sectors of the economy. This was a thrust of the visit of the Polish Deputy Minister of Economy to Nigeria's Minister of Transport, as well as that of Trade, Commerce and Investment. Fatima Aliyu reports.
In the first quarter of 2014, Poland economy, an ex-economy state, is put at 3.7 growth, and it is expected to grow high with a steady pursuit of economic liberalization policy, though with record of some modest challenges. Equally, Nigeria's economy, which is almost at its peak, is ranked fourth in the world, with high return on various investment opportunities made possible through the present administration's transformation agenda in all sectors of the economy. The collaborative efforts between Nigeria and Poland will therefore not have come at a better time than now.
We've responded to them by giving them all the assurances that Nigeria today provides the best environment for any investor in the world. Nigeria, of course, ranks the fourth in the whole world in terms of high return on investment, and therefore the climate, the environment, the laws and everything are extremely friendly for investors across the globe too. We are establishing a maritime university, the first ever maritime university in Okerenkoko in Delta State, in the Niger Delta area of this country, and then a shipbuilding facility. They are all being funded by NIMASA.
We also intensify efforts through trade fairs, through business forums, through visits, and of course we also encourage a binational commission.
We should push politicians to make it happen as soon as possible, because opportunities are here and we cannot miss that.
The Poland Deputy Minister of Trade's visit is a follow-up to that of Prime Minister's visit to Nigeria last year. The effort is expected to boost the current volume of trade between the two countries, which is put at over $100 million. In Abuja, Fatima Aliu, NTA News.
Now on to political matters. Correspondent Femi Johnson interacted with governors of the People's Democratic Party after their meeting where they endorsed President Goodluck Jonathan as their sole candidate for the 2015 presidential election.
The meeting, which was attended by 14 governors, 2 acting governors and 4 deputy governors, deliberated extensively on the candidature of Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. After 3 hours, the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Governor Godswill Akpabio, announced the decision, which he noted was not challenged by any of the governors in attendance.
And we all resolve to further support his bid for re-election come 2015. The PDP Governors Forum urges all PDP faithfuls across the country to support this decision and this gesture, which we believe will enable Mr. President to become the sole presidential candidate of our great party come 2015 election.
The forum also deliberated on other national issues and resolved thus.
On the issue of the Ebola outbreak, the forum notes the successes recorded by the Federal Ministry of Health and all the health ministries across Nigeria. The forum further commends Mr. President.
The PDP Governors Forum congratulated Adamawa State Acting Governor Alhaji Umar Fintiri, who emerged victorious at the primaries, and also saluted the decision of Senator Iyolo Mishore and the PDP faithfuls who have chosen to pursue their right through the law courts. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party has also fixed dates for its primaries ahead of 2015 elections. 22nd of November has been fixed for the National Assembly primaries, while the 29th of November is for the governorship primaries. The presidential primaries holds on the 6th of December. In Abuja, Femi Johnson, NTA News.
The PDP Board of Trustees has accepted the endorsement of the president's candidature for 2015 elections by the governors. This was part of the resolution of the BOT, which met last night at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Shegu Lawale reports.
Members of the Board of Trustees of the PDP had what they described as very fruitful deliberations, which lasted for about 3 hours. The meeting, which also had in attendance President Goodluck Jonathan and Vice President Namadi Sambo, among other issues, approved the party convention's timetable. However, the PDP Governors Forum was said to have endorsed President Jonathan for a second term in office, a message conveyed to the BOT by the Governor of Akwa Ibom State and Chairman of the Governors Forum. Professor Jerry Ghana briefed journalists at the end of the BOT meeting. Jigawa State Governor was also said to have endorsed the candidature of President Jonathan.
And the Governor of Akwa Ibom State confirmed to the BOT, because we very much were interested in confirming the position of the Governor of Jigawa State, and he rose and said the Governor of Jigawa phoned him during the meeting and directed the Deputy Governor of Jigawa, who was attending the meeting, to sign the document. In other words, he authorized the Deputy Governor to sign on his behalf, and therefore the answer to your question is that he too endorsed that decision.
For members of the Board of Trustees, it was time to reward the President with a ticket as a result of his commitment, hard work, and performance.
We are delighted as a party, both the governors and the BOT, that we've taken this very, very democratic decision because nobody was forced. Nobody was asked not to do it. And in fact, if anybody were to come up, after these resolutions, we are not going to say get out of the party because of that. We are the People's Democratic Party, but we are delighted that when we have a performing candidate who is doing very, very well, we should certainly give him an opportunity to have a second term. That is fairness. That is good. That is proper. That is the right thing to do.
We believe that the BOT is the conscience of the party. So if the BOT have agreed to endorse Mr. President as candidate of the party, what we're simply saying is that we are persuading every member of the party to accept that position. So we're not going to force any person, but we're making a strong statement. We are persuading our people strongly to accept this position for the reasons earlier mentioned. And so it's also important for us to know that we need to reward hard work. We need to reward their commitment. We need to reward their achievement. We need to reward performance.
With the approval of the new timetable by the Board of Trustees, Professor Jerry Ghana says the presidential race is still open. President Jonathan is yet to respond to the endorsement by the Governors Forum and the Board of Trustees. In the State House, Segun Lawole, NTA News.
Still on politics, PDP at its 66th National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja unanimously endorsed President Goodluck Jonathan as the sole candidate of the party for the 2015 presidential election. The president says he was humbled and promised not to let the people down in the next dispensation. Segun Lawole again reports.
The 66th meeting of the National Executive Committee of the PDP, presided over by the National Chairman, adopted a motion moved by the former Defense Minister, Bello Haliru Mohammed, endorsing President Jonathan as the party's sole candidate in the 2015 presidential election. Prior to the adoption by the NEC, the Governors Forum, the leadership of the PDP caucus at the National Assembly, the Board of Trustees, and PDP women also unanimously endorsed the candidature of President Jonathan for another term in office.
Those that support the motion as proposed and seconded, may you say aye, please.
President Jonathan will express his appreciation for the Executive Council's resolution to adopt him, reaffirmed his commitment to good governance, as he was humbled by the confidence the party has in his leadership.
I can only promise members of our party, members of NEC, and members of our party, and indeed our country, that just like the saying that who more is given, more is expected, for you to have that kind of confidence in me is a big challenge, extremely big challenge. That means that, God willing, and we'll go through, that everything we achieve, we should think about getting it threefold. That is, whatever we have done in the next dispensation, we'll do even better.
The national chairman of the party, Adamu Muazu, who intimated the meeting with the state of affairs in the party, and the Senate President David Mark, on behalf of the National Assembly PDP caucus, extolled the sterling qualities of President Jonathan, having highlighted various achievements of his administration through the transformation agenda.
The destiny of Nigeria is safe in the hands of the PDP. If there is a sitting president who is a performing president, it is our very sincere belief that he should be given a chance to do even better.
The party is expected to officially present its presidential flag bearer at its national convention. From the PDP Secretariat, Abuja, Segun Lawole, NTA News.
Still on the 2015 election, the National Association of Nigerian Students has inaugurated the Nigeria Students Transformation Vanguard to support the re-election of President Jonathan if he chooses to run for president in 2015. The Vanguard Group was inaugurated at the 2014 annual convention of the association in Asaba, Delta State. The report.
The delegate
delegates to the convention, made up of students from 239 public higher institutions, say they are in support of the president not only for his developmental strides, but more importantly for his commitment for the growth of education. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Youth and Student Matters, Jude Imagwe, assured the students that the federal government is committed to providing 3 million jobs for young Nigerian graduates in the next 12 months. He urged Nigerian youths to key into the transformation agenda of President Jonathan's administration and enjoy the dividends of democracy.
That there is no Muslim Nigeria, there is no Christian Nigeria. There is no northern Nigeria, there is no southern Nigeria. There is the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And we are duty bound as citizens of this country to protect our country.
At the end of the convention, Tijani Usman from the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria emerged as the new president of NANS, while Thomas Ochai from the University of Jos emerged as Senate president. Vivian Idekpefo, NTA News.
You're still tuned to news reaching you from NTA International, Abuja, Nigeria. Ahead in the news, issues of the moment focuses on voter registration.
Transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
Change is never easy. It was not easy for Dr. Martin Luther King when Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew transformed Singapore from third world to first world. It was not easy. They stoned him. It was not easy for Nelson Mandela.
I, Barack Hussein Obama.
It was not easy for Barack Obama. Nothing worthwhile ever is. Dr. Martin Luther King did it. Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew did it. Nelson Mandela did it. Barack Obama did it. Goodluck Jonathan is doing it. He is transforming Nigeria. Mr. President, keep doing it. We who are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
The news continues. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says only eligible voters with permanent voters' cards will be allowed to vote in the forthcoming 2015 general elections. The Deputy Director and Head of Publicity of the Commission, Mr. Nick Dazang, who disclosed this on NTA International Current Affairs Program, Issues of the Moment, also stated that card readers will be used to authenticate fake voters' card during election period.
Is one of the most credible in the continent, is to ensure that people who didn't register before take advantage of the period between now and 2015 to register. So even though the intentment of the law is that the registration should be continuous, you can go to any of our offices and register. But the Commission has deliberately construed continuous as periodic. And that is why you could see in phases 1 and 2, in which we did continuous voter registration exercise, and in which we distributed permanent voter cards in 24 states and the FCT. What we did was to structure the distribution of permanent voter cards and the continuous voter registration exercise, such that for the distribution of the PVCs, it takes 3 years per phase. And then the continuous voter registration exercise takes 5 days.
Full package of the program will be brought to you at 7:30 p.m. local time. Concerned about the food security situation in the country, traditional rulers are canvassing for a more proactive approach to agro-industrialization. Towards its end, a 2-day National Development Summit of Traditional Rulers is holding in Abuja to find a way out of the food security situation. Ruben Okala reports.
Even before colonization, they existed. Their regalia and attires stand them out as protectors of traditional values and customs. They outlive all governments and administrations. They are called the royal fathers or traditional rulers. Besides protecting customs, values, and traditions, they also contribute to national development. The 7th National Development Summit of Traditional Rulers provides them another opportunity to discuss the way forward for food security.
To make sure we concentrate on agriculture, which will benefit everybody, the masses.
When we go back home, we'll continue to enlighten the people so that agriculture will take the front burner.
Growing the crops to maximize the yield, but even more so, preserving what we have.
So thinking in terms of formulating policies that will increase the food supply in the country.
The summit features lectures with the Minister of State, Industry, Trade and Investment adding his voice to the discourse.
We must also make efforts to export some of them so that we can earn some resources back in our country.
The summit is with the theme Food Security and Agro-Industrialization in Nigeria, Realities, Potentials and Prospects. In Abuja, Ruben Okala, NTA News.
Now on to foreign issues. Ukraine President Petro Poroshenko addresses joint session of U.S. Congress, and Liberia says it will win the war against Ebola while commending international efforts to stem the spread of the virus. Okwekbeyon has foreign report.
One of the worst hit countries struggling with the Ebola virus is Liberia. The West African nation, which has witnessed many deaths since the outbreak of the disease, is scaling up its war. Meanwhile, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has commended the American government for efforts aimed at tackling the scourge.
We remain in touch with leaders of other governments and with the United Nations leadership to take similar steps and join us in partnership to end this disease.
President Sirleaf said the country, which has had challenges in the past, cannot faint at this trying time.
Ebola will not defeat us. Never. We have faced great tragedies before. These have tested us and shown our true character. I call on you to stand up again. We are fighting back and we will win.
Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko has urged the U.S. to provide military assistance to his country to counter pro-Russian Eastern separatists. In an address to a joint session of Congress, he said ill-equipped young Ukrainian servicemen were fighting a war for the free world.
This Ukrainian army, imagine, these young boys, under-equipped and often underappreciated by the world, are the only thing that now stands between reality of the peaceful coexistence and the nightmare.
Mr. Poroshenko said that Ukrainian government forces needed more equipment, both lethal and non-lethal.
Blankets, night vision goggles are also important, but one cannot win the war with the blankets.
Oku Ekbayang, NTA News.
Now on to business matters. Nigeria and 24 other countries contribute 78% of global GDP. World Bank approves $105 million grant to fight Ebola in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. Details of these and more with Muplang Dakok on Business News.
Nigeria has been listed among 25 developing and emerging countries of the world, accounting for 78% of global gross domestic product (GDP). The Huawei Global Connectivity Index listed Germany on top of the list of contributors, with the United States, United Kingdom, Chile, and Japan following. The last 8 countries include South Africa, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Kenya, the Philippines, Indonesia, Bangladesh, and Nigeria. The World Bank Group has approved a multi-million-dollar grant to finance Ebola virus containment efforts in West African countries infected with the disease. The countries to benefit are Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. Nigeria is not a beneficiary of the grant.
The money will help families and communities cope with the economic impact of the crisis, as well as rebuild and strengthen public health systems. And on the money market, the Naira fell 0.34% to a 3-month closing low at 163.45 Naira against the dollar, despite the Central Bank of Nigeria's intervention for a second day. The currency fell to 163.70 Naira before the CBN's intervention. Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
Our weather forecast is next with highlights on major Nigerian and world cities. And that rounds up our news package for now. That's it from here. Thanks for being there.
To respect the office of the president and the occupier of the office of the president, whoever they may be. Over the years, we have seen our illustrious sons become presidents of this great nation. Today, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan is our president. And because he encourages the freedom of speech, Nigerians can speak freely no matter their opinion. But let us remember that respect for the office of the president is the civic responsibility of every Nigerian. So, respect our president today, and if tomorrow you become president, we promise to respect you.
This message is brought to you by Community Awareness and Development Network, Kawan.
In a craftily neat documentary series, we tell the stories of our rich traditions, unique industries, the food of our people, our language.
It is Wolo,
the sights and sounds of even our intangible attributes. Heritage on NTA Network, every Thursday at 10.
It's up to us, all of us. The safety of our communities is in our hands. The police need our help and support. Boko Haram threatens our lives, our future, our country. But Nigeria belongs to us. God has blessed us with this rich land. Let us protect her as we protect each other. Report any criminal activity. Call these numbers. Your call is anonymous, and it is vitally important. Your support so far has been critical. Continuing it will make all the difference between a Nigeria of the fearful and a Nigeria of the free. Protect each other, for we are not terrorists. We are Nigerians. A message from the State Security Service.
Let's live together. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are live together.
Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. The Click Clap Show is so much fun. It's not the one.
Welcome to Click Clap, a program designed for children and also presented by us. I mean, children.
Welcome to Click Clap News. My name is Ifeoluwa Olaripo, and with me, Michael Chukuma.
Please take care of your pets. Shalom George, reporting for Click Clap.
Lami Salema reporting for Click Clap News.
Zamfara State was carved out of Sokoto State.
Alamo!
Don't collect no. Man, no, that man, no, pull up. About that in the afternoon, yes, but we to go for castle. Yeah. Yeah, was for my tap. You don't get them, yo. These children, that's for my tap. Anytime they go fetch water, I go use my hand, they give them water. Yeah. But you go take for me. No problem, I start for you before now. Yeah. But anyway, you want to win. Now 50